What's up, everyone? Welcome back. My name is Tatiana. I am a certified surgical technologist. And if you don't know much about me, or if this is your first time seeing me, or your first time watching one of my videos, seeing a post of mine or anything like that, why don't you go ahead, just pause the video now, go over to my Instagram and follow me, because that's where all the good info is, all right? So, this week's episode, I want to cater a little bit to my newbies and aspiring surgical techs. A lot of my following is on Instagram, and I get questions every single day. This week, what I decided to do is go through some of those questions that that are on my Instagrams and my DMs mostly, and I kind of put them together, and I'm going to answer them. So let's just get started, okay? Question number one. Advice on looking for schools. My biggest thing on schools is you do not always have to pull out a student loan, okay? As a surgical technologist, in order to get work, all we need is a certification and some type of certificate of completion or a diploma from a program saying that we completed the necessary requirements to even pass the certificate program and be able to sit for the exam. When people tell me that they have 5-figure loans for our profession, I think it's outrageous. So definitely go into, do a lot of research on schools in your area. You should not have to pull out a 5-figure loan. And there's a couple of private schools that I don't want to call out any names, but it's not necessary, I promise you, because one of my old coworkers, we did our clinical rotation at the same facility, and we both got jobs in the same department. We both made the same rate. Just because you paid more for school does not mean you're gonna be making more money. Another really important thing, ask if you can. Somehow try to get some feedback on how much people in the community actually respect that school, I guess you can say. So for example, the school that I went to, when I went to clinicals, all of my preceptors said that they love students from my school because they felt like we were very well prepared, and that they would hire students from my school over any of the other schools that did their clinical rotation there, okay? Do your research. Don't just jump into the first school that you see, all right? Second question, how do you balance school and work? Honestly, it's hard, but that's not just with surgical tech. That's in general wanting to go back to school as an adult. You have more responsibilities than you did as a child, or not even a child, as a young adult, 18, 19, 20. You have way more responsibilities now than you did back then. So it is gonna take a little bit more juggling, all right? So you have to be mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared for that new load of work, that new load of, also, think about it too. Some people have been out of school for a while, and now you gotta start using part of your brain that you haven't used in a minute. You know what I mean? So you gotta mentally prepare yourself. You know what I mean? Think back to when you were in school before. How did you study? What helped you studying well? If you don't know what study tips work for you, Google it, YouTube it. In 2021, you can Google and YouTube just about anything, okay? I know there's people out there that kind of give tips on different ways that people learn. So definitely look into that. Also, planning. Planning is huge, okay? Make sure you go into every week with a plan. If you're just going into every week winging it, especially if you have kids or other major responsibilities that you have to take care of, if you don't have a plan, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna succeed, but it's gonna be really fucking hard, honestly, okay? So as far as balancing, you just have to go into it prepared, knowing that it's gonna be hard, but knowing that you're a badass and you're gonna get shit done, period. Another question that a lot of people ask, that I even wondered too when I was a student, the associate's degree versus a diploma. There's no difference, y'all, except for the amount of time that you're in school and the amount of money that you pay. Some people say, oh, well, I want to get the associate's degree just because I want to have a degree. Go to school and spend money on a degree that's actually going to do something for you. Because an associate's degree in applied health or applied sciences of surgical technology is not going to do shit for you, sis. It's not going to do nothing. That whole I just want to have a degree mentality is very toxic in my opinion, because you're putting yourself in debt just because you want to fit a status quo. That here in 2021, a degree don't always mean everything. There are people that I know that are making six figures that never had a college degree. Then I know people who have went to school for 4 to 6 years and they're making less money than me. And I didn't get a college degree. I have 3 certifications in 2 different medical related fields. I didn't go to a traditional college, get a bachelor's degree or anything like that. It's so unnecessary. If you do want some type of degree behind your name or on your record or whatever have you, be able to say that you graduated from college with a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree or whatever, go for something that's actually going to benefit you in the long run. I personally don't like wasting money. If I don't want to spend money on it, I'm not going to spend money on it. I don't like wasting money. And when you have an associate's degree and applied science for surgical technology and a diploma for a completion of a program of surgical technology, and you go to work and get the same pay rates, waste of money. That's just my opinion on it. That's all I got to say on that, okay? What to expect in clinicals. So for my newbies that are, just finishing the didactic part of your program and going into your clinical rotation, I will say to expect to be overwhelmed. You're gonna get there and you're gonna see everything's moving fast. Especially for the first case of the day, everybody's moving around, getting things going. So that way that first patient can be in a room by 7:30, because it's usually a 7:30 start. Expect to be a little overwhelmed because everybody that's in the OR has been doing this for a little while. So they know the movement of everything. They know how it flows. You're still learning. To you, everything's going a mile a minute. To them, shit's not moving fast enough. You know what I mean? So there's that. Also be a sponge because there's so much going on. Take it all in. Anything that anyone says, you can take in. As you get a little bit more experience in the OR, you'll know what information you took from people that you should keep and what information you should mentally dispose of. Because at the end of the day, you can't rely on information from everyone, but as a new person, you can learn from every situation or everything that anyone says. You can learn from those people who you come to find out is actually the troublemaker at work. You can learn what not to do. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to take in. Be a sponge. Have your notebook. Write down as much as you can, because when you go back to try to think of something, or you go back to class and you want to ask your teacher a question on something that you saw, if you don't write it down, you're going to forget. Especially in those beginning weeks, you're going to forget because it's going to be so much that you're learning. So expect to be a little overwhelmed, but prepare to be a sponge so you can take it all in, write your notes, and that way you can be successful in the long run. Trust me, it's possible. Hundreds of thousands of us have done it. It's not impossible, okay? So one question that I even made a TikTok about this the other day. I am about to start my program, or I got accepted in my program. It starts in January. What can I do? What can I study in order to get a head start? The only thing that you could probably really get a head start on is your medical terminology, because it literally is a whole nother language. MedTerm can really help you when you get to the OR and they're throwing out different procedures. They're talking about different procedures or throwing out big words. If you know your med terms, you can break that word down that they're saying and figure out what they're talking about. You know what I mean? The A&P, anatomy and physiology, okay? That's one that's great that you might be able to get a head start on. For me, I couldn't get a head start on A&P because there's so much information that I don't know what to start learning. That was just me. So my personal opinion, the main thing that you can get started on is med terms. Learn that new language. Another question. I have 1 month until I take my exam. What is it that I can study before, on this last month, on this last stretch? Listen, what's your weak, where are you weak at? What is your weakest, what's your weakest area? This is a question that is different for everyone. If you suck in pharmacology and you know there's not one pharmacology question that you will get right, do some extra studying in pharmacology. If you know your anatomy and physiology is sketchy, and sometimes you take yourself to second guess an answer, brush up on your anatomy and physiology. If you feel like it's hard for you to break down words, brush up on your med terms. You know what I'm saying? That's a question for you to answer yourself. Where are you weakest? That's a question to ask yourself. Only you can really truly answer that question. Wherever you feel like you're weakest, take a little bit more time in that area. Okay? Another question that people ask me a lot, how did you, how was the exam for you? Was it easy? What did you, I took my exam a while ago, okay? I don't remember anymore, but that's exactly why I documented it all on my Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram, literally I have a bunch of highlights, and one of my highlights are titled FAQs. And in those FAQs, I did a Q&A where people ask questions like a day or two or a couple of days after I took my my CST and I passed it on the first time. So I answered questions, and that's when all the answers were fresh in my brain. Now, at this point, mid-2021, we're in the second quarter of 2021. You think you want me to remember stuff from a test I don't know how long ago? Yeah, nah, it's not gonna happen. But go there. That's exactly why I documented it all, because I knew people were gonna ask questions again, and all the information is there. Okay, guys? So another question people ask a lot. How do you remember all the instruments? Listen, a lot of the instruments are used on just about every case. So your your forceps, Adsons, DeBakey's, tissue forceps, dressing forceps, sometimes Russians. You're gonna almost always see those. And your Ferris Smiths. Those are forceps that you're gonna see very often. So repetition. Your mosquitoes, hemostats, Kellys, Alice, Cokers, tonsils or schnitz, your towel clamps, your sponge sticks. Those are things that you're gonna see on every pan. As far as retractors, your Army Navies, your Richardson retractors, your appendiceals, maybe some SINs, some skin rakes. Those are things that are common that you'll see often. So with repetition, you will remember. Seeing that every day, touching those instruments, seeing them. Then when I got to clinicals, being able to see them being in use, when they use it. That's how you kind of start to remember stuff. And then once you see it being used every day, you'll start to know when a surgeon's gonna need that, and what case they're gonna use certain things for. You're gonna be able to play a case in your head and know what instruments you're missing that you're gonna need. So honestly, the way we know all of the instruments or remember all the instruments, repetition. I don't do a lot of ortho, so ortho instruments, I know what they're used for, but I don't know the names of all of them. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. Someone asked, how do you prepare for a case? Preparing for a case, especially as a student in your clinicals, can be a little overwhelming because, at least for me, I didn't know what case I was going to be in until the morning of. I know some people, they know what cases they're going to be in the day before, which is great. I didn't have that luxury because I was in a level 1 trauma and things changed every day. Me and my classmates, we got to our clinical site a little early before the staff got there. The facility I was at, the staff got there at 6:30, so we tried to get there at 6. And we looked at the board, our teacher assigned us the room that we were in, and we knew what cases we would be doing for the day. At that point, we'd go look at the case card, or we'll pull the case card, bring it to the room, look over the preference card. If I was completely unfamiliar with the case before I even look at the preference card or anything, because I know if I don't know the case, I'm gonna be confused by the preference card. So the first thing I did was Google it. Google the procedure name, see if I could find a quick video on YouTube or pictures or something about the procedure. And once I got a better understanding, then I went over the preference card, looked in the case card, saw what instrumentation and what supplies that were pulled for the case. I would spread things out. Mind you, I'm doing all of this before my preceptor actually gets in the room, so that way I have time, okay? So I would try to spread everything, what I thought I would need, going based off the preference card and the information that I just researched. By the time my preceptor gets in the room, hi, I'm Tatiana, I'm a surgical tech student. My teacher assigned me to this room today. Is it okay if I work with you today? Yes, no problem, great. So I looked over the preference card and I kind of pulled out what I thought we would need. Is this stuff right? Is there anything that I missed, or did I pull out too much? Then the preceptor, number one, is gonna say, damn, this bitch shows initiative. And two, it's also gonna show that you want to learn, okay? Also, now the preceptor is gonna be able to go behind you and explain to you why or why not certain things are needed or unnecessary. That is the way to start your day in your clinical rotation. That's how you prepare yourself for a case, especially things that you don't even know about. That is the best way to go about it. Just that whole spiel right there, you're gonna be successful. You're welcome. All right, one last question, okay? And this question used to get asked a lot, not as much anymore, but pharmacology, okay? There is something in my hair. It's in my hair this whole video. I gotta go wash my hair, but I really don't care right now. Anywho, pharmacology, okay? I hate when texts say that we don't need to know about pharmacology. We don't need to know about drugs. Yes, the hell we do, okay? We definitely need to know what's on our field. So know the difference between marcaine, bupivacaine, lidocaine, xylocaine, epi, adrenaline, Exparel. Whatever you're getting poured on your field, you need to know, okay? You need to know the difference between saline and water. There's things that you need to know, okay? There's IV saline versus regular saline. Things you need to know. For example, one of the nurses that I worked with, it was a new nurse. No, I don't think she was a new nurse, actually. She was new to the department. Like, she was new to that OR that I was in. And so she was technically with a preceptor. And the preceptor asked, do you know the difference between marcaine and lidocaine? She's like, there is none. What? Like, come on. Mind you, I'm not gonna tell you guys the difference between marcaine and lidocaine. What I want y'all to do is go and do that homework right now. Find out the difference between marcaine and lidocaine and put a comment. Especially if you made it this far in this video, put a comment down below and let me know the difference between marcaine and lidocaine, and then I'll say the answer in the next video. That's your guys' homework this week. Back to what I was saying. It's important to know these things. It's important to know, especially if you're doing cases like cardiac and vascular cases, you need to know about heparin. So different specialties, you need to know about different medications. And if you don't want to know about it, you don't want to learn about it, you feel like you don't need to know, you shouldn't be in this profession. Period. You should not be in this profession, because yes, you do need to know. Because somebody could be making a mistake to do something, but if you have no knowledge on that particular information, you can't help stop the mistake. Don't be that person who wants to do only a quarter of their job. Take your ass home if you're that person. Okay? Because at the end of the day, people's lives are on the line. That was just like, I heard something about Exparel. If you guys know anything about Exparel, it's a local anesthetic. But if you give too much Exparel, if you give more than one vial of Exparel, you can kill the patient. Mofos don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So, want to learn, okay? Don't just be an asshole and do the bare minimum. Want to learn, because at the end of the day, it's somebody's life on the table. I would not want nobody doing my case that did not want to learn and want to know what the hell is going on in the case. Don't scrub. I thank God I work in an OR because I will pick my entire team. For me, my mother, my grandmother, my sister, my brother, anybody in my family, close friends, relatives, all that, I am picking the team. Period, point blank, no questions asked. I already know the surgeon that's gonna do the procedure. I got his personal number. I'm gonna call him now. That's how I feel, especially with the way some people are. Some people really grind my gears. But I digress. I think that's all the questions that I have for this week. I kind of went through real quick and found some questions. It's hard to go back through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages. And of course, Instagram kind of deletes some messages after a while. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those below. Actually, it'd be great if you go to my Instagram because I feel like it's so much easier for me to keep up with Instagram than everything else. So go to my Instagram, DM me a message, DM me, let me know that you just watched this video and you want your question answered on the next video, okay? My Instagram is @_for_the-love-of-surgery. Follow me on TikTok. I think my TikTok is gonna be like a mixture of surgical tech, but then also a mixture of my regular life. There's a lot of things that I'm interested in. I'm a very crafty person. I do DIYs. Even before the pandemic, I'm telling y'all this now. Before COVID, I was an avid crafter, okay? So I plan on sharing a lot of stuff there because I recently got into the TikTok space. I knew TikTok was gonna try to take over my life. That's why it took me over a year to even download the damn app, and I downloaded it and it did exactly what I thought it was gonna do. So go to my TikTok, follow me. I'm gonna put some good shit on there, okay? I'm planning on decorating this apartment that I'm in, and I'll show you guys all the stuff, all the crafts that I already made. I'm excited about that. But anyway, go ahead, comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what other videos you want me to post about, and don't forget about the homework, okay? I'm looking for these homework answers, and whoever answers the question correctly first, I got something for you, all right? Okay, guys, until next time, peace.